This is the brand new Africa Twin Adventure Sports DCT 2026. And besides shifting gears automatically for you like an automatic motorcycle, it also has some differences compared to the entry-level Africa Twin. For example, it has a smaller front wheel, a lower seat height, and also a larger fuel tank capacity. And this is the only video you need to watch to know everything about it. Technical features, performance in the city and on the road, fuel consumption and insurance cost. And of course, my honest opinion with the pros and cons so you can make the best purchase decision. I'm Amanda Pagliari. This is the most charming motorcycle channel in Brazil, and it also brings you the most complete two-wheel reviews. So go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos, and because this ride deserves it. The name Africa Twin resurfaced in 2016 with the true adventure concept, and what does that mean? A big trail bike truly focused on trail riding. At the time, big trail bikes were getting bigger and heavier, focusing more on asphalt and leaving trail riding behind, but Honda Big went the opposite way. So, since then, since 2016, the Africa Twin has become part of the CRF lineup, which is Honda's competition motorcycle focused on extreme off-road. And the new Africa Twin, since 2016, brings a lot of this technology to off-road riding. Over the years, the Africa Twin has been changing and also getting new versions, so this isn't the first adventure sports version that Honda has released, right? But it keeps changing, then they added the DCT transmission and so on. Currently, we only have 3 versions available in Brazil. 2 have DCT and 1 has a manual transmission. I'll explain. The entry-level Africa Twin comes with a 21-inch front wheel, and a new feature is that it has tubeless tires, which is interesting. It doesn't have electronic suspension and it's manual. In other words, you shift gears just like with any other motorcycle in the world. Then we have the version with a 21-inch wheel, but with the automated DCT transmission. Then we have electronic suspension, okay? And the 21-inch front wheel and also the smaller fuel tank. Then we have this version here, Adventure Sports, which really does have some other differences, right? Like the smaller wheel rim here and everything else, and it still has electronic suspension. I'll share more details soon. And who is the Adventure Sports for? Unlike the entry-level Africa Twin, this version here is more touring-oriented, meaning it's for you to ride many more kilometers. And that's why it even comes with a much larger tank, so you don't have to keep stopping all the time to refuel. Besides that, it's a bit more comfortable, according to Honda, right? So it has a more touring focus, let's say, than the Africa Twin. But don't be fooled, it's still a CRF, so you won't find that premium comfort you see in other big adventure bikes. It's for you to travel more on asphalt, to go farther, but still travel with peace of mind if you come across unpaved roads, right? When it's just dirt, potholes, rough roads, when the asphalt ends, you can ride more safely with this motorcycle, so it's for all kinds of roads. Regarding the design, the Africa Twin has undergone some changes. I think that with each passing day, it gets even more beautiful, not just in terms of the fairings, the fit, the design of the fairings themselves, but also the overall design. I thought it turned out really cool here, and yes, we do have some differences in the Africa Twin's design, okay? It's a subtle change, but it's there. For example, this part here isn't on the Africa Twin, right? And here we have the fairings. This side is also a little different anyway. But an interesting detail is that it's like little horns, right? This part here, which is kind of like an extension of the windshield, right? So it gives you more protection. According to Honda, work was done so that the air doesn't hit your arms and shoulders to avoid causing fatigue for the rider, so they can ride for many more kilometers, right? The windshield, it can be adjusted, okay? It's not electronic, it's manual. So you come here and you can raise or lower it in 5 positions. An interesting detail about the Africa Twin's windshield is that it's the first motorcycle in the world to feature a transparent windshield, right? It's durable. It's engineering plastic made from biological material, so that's really cool. And it's part of Honda's plan to bring more sustainability and use fewer resources, so I thought that was cool. The lights here on the Africa Twin are LED. And here we have the headlight assembly, this one. Look here, the Africa Twin's aggressive look. It's getting more and more aggressive. I really like this signature look here on the front of the Africa Twin. Interesting, here on the side of the Africa Twin. It even reminds me of those little eyebrow cuts people do, right? I don't know if that was the intention, but I think it looks really stylish. Here's the front of the Africa Twin, okay? So we have LED lights here, right? The position lights as well. And the cool thing is that the headlight brightness adapts according to the daylight, right? It understands that. And down here, different from the entry-level Africa Twin, we have these lights down here that are what, guys? Cornering lights. So we have 3 levels, really cool. As you're taking a turn, yeah, it's IMU, right? The intelligence, let's say the bike's computer understands the lean angle and automatically activates it for you. Isn't that great? We have here, look, the turn signals, right? Always on. Why do Honda's mid and high displacement bikes have this feature? According to them, it's because the vehicle in front sees the headlight and 2 turn signals, and they're sure it's a motorcycle, which brings more safety for you. Yeah, the LED turn signals too, just like the taillight, have turn signal cancellation here, which is really cool. And here at the back, we have the ESS braking system, which works like this. When you brake hard in an emergency above a certain speed, the electronics detect it and will activate the rear turn signals for a few seconds just to warn the vehicle behind you that you've braked hard in an emergency. That's something to pay attention to. It brings more safety, and it's done automatically by the bike. About the accessories, okay, what comes from the factory? Aluminum skid plate here, very sturdy, it's not plastic, which is a good thing, and hand guards. In the white version, the hand guards come in white. However, as you can see here, it has a fairing guard, an engine guard, and a center stand. These are accessories, original Honda items, and I'll tell you about the complete lineup in a moment. And in the back here, look, it comes with this top case support, okay, with an integrated luggage rack, and the fairing already has the fitting here for you to attach the original Honda side cases. And if you want to equip your Africa Twin even more with high-quality, durable accessories that offer great value for money, my tip is to get Scam accessories, which are really worth it, you know? And they have a complete line here for the Africa Twin, like, for example, a center stand, right? Also a side stand foot enlarger, license plate reinforcement, engine and fairing guard, top case rack, and also side case racks. Besides that, Scam has several options for cases, from the Ushuaia line made of super-resistant aluminum to the new keyless line, including one that fits 2 helmets, and of course from the economy line, which offers great value for money in black or silver. Scam has accessories for various types of motorcycles, not just adventure bikes. They have everything from scooters and street bikes to adventure motorcycles. It's worth checking out the Scam website to see the full range for your motorcycle or scooter. Just click the link in the description or point your phone's camera at the QR code on the screen to check out the complete lineup for you. I'll highlight some products here in the video for the Africa Twin. Regarding the wheels, we have some news here for the Adventure Sports, the 19-inch rim. In the front, it keeps tubeless tires, meaning without an inner tube. So we have a 19-inch rim in the front and a 17-inch in the back. And the cool thing is that the air valve is L-shaped, which makes life much easier for us motorcyclists. And the spokes, right, are attached here on the outside, which is why they allow for tubeless tires. In fact, the tire here on the Adventure Sports is a bit wider, bringing more stability on the road. Another difference from the entry-level Africa Twin is the dimensions. Still, it's a compact big trail, right? That has always been the message, the idea, and the purpose of the Africa Twin since it's a CRF, so it's a slim, lightweight, big trail. And here we have smaller dimensions than the entry-level Africa Twin, okay? So for example, here we have a slightly shorter wheelbase. Another difference we have here is, for example, in the ground clearance, right? It's the distance to the ground. On the entry-level Africa Twin, we have 25 centimeters, and here we have 22, so it's a lower bike. However, the weight of the Adventure Sports is higher. It's 234 kilos dry weight, meaning without considering the fluids and the fuel tank, which has a capacity of 24.8 liters of gasoline. That's not much. The seat is split type with foam that's more comfortable than the entry-level Africa Twin, according to Honda. Here on the outside, we have a smoother texture, but where the rider and passenger actually sit, it's non-slip. Africa Twin is engraved here on the rear seat, and the cool thing is that all versions of the Africa Twin have seat adjustment. So you can set it to the lowest, which is 83.5 or higher, 85.5. But even so, this Africa Twin is still lower than the entry-level Africa Twin. I'll get on so you can see, but first I'll take it off the center stand. I'm 177 centimeters tall and I can put both feet on the ground here without any difficulty. Why is that? Because the Africa Twin is a motorcycle that's really narrow here, so in practice you don't need to keep your legs so far apart. And of course, guys, it's an adventure bike. I know a lot of short men and women would like to ride it, and it doesn't help if you can't reach the ground. For me, see, there's still some left. I'm not just on my tiptoes. So it's set to the lowest seat height, which is really nice, but that's it. Even with the center stand, I couldn't do it, right? But without the center stand, I can put both feet on the ground. The rider's foot peg has a rubberized finish, which you can also remove to get more grip when riding off-road. And here for the passenger, we have a retractable aluminum foot peg, okay, with a rubberized finish and everything. Riding position on the Africa Twin. First of all, I need to mention that like any good big trail bike for off-road, right, with the foot peg positioned right here in the center, what happens is you end up hitting your shin on the foot peg, so if yours gets bruised, you're not alone, okay? It fits me perfectly, this bike, and then we have a very relaxed handlebar position here. The front is fixed, so when you turn here, see, the bike will keep going, the headlight, let's say, the front of it, but it turns really well. See that? And here we have the leg position slightly bent, but more centered, so it doesn't cause me that much discomfort on the road. Let me put it on the center stand so you can see what it's like to ride standing up. "2,000 years later. Guys, I really need to go to the gym to strengthen my muck here. Look, standing up while riding, the bike fits really well. That's what it's made for. Of course, you can raise the handlebars here if you want, but basically, for riding standing up and mastering this bike, it's really good for that. It's the coolest adventure bike for you to ride on dirt, so if you really want to go off-road, right, this toy here is going to be a lot of fun for you. Besides being able to take long trips and cover distances, you'll also have a lot of fun on the dirt. The suspensions here on the Africa Twin Adventure Sport are electronic with Showa technology. That's what you're seeing on the screen. And basically it adjusts not only according to the riding mode you choose. Depending on the mode you choose, it will respond differently, and it can also adjust itself in real time. And the cool thing is that in user mode, you can fine-tune it, right? In 24 different positions. Isn't that great? Now, in the rear, the adjustments are made directly here on the panel, and you can set it to 4 levels: rider only, rider and passenger, rider, passenger and luggage, and rider and luggage. The cool part is you can adjust this while the bike is moving. And the telescopic fork is in a beautiful golden color. It's an inverted type here, really sturdy, with 210 millimeters of travel. Yes, the travel is shorter than the entry-level Africa Twin, okay? And in the rear, we have millimeters of travel. Regarding the brakes, up front we have dual floating discs with a diameter of 310 millimeters and Nissan radial mount calipers with 4 pistons. In the rear, there's a single disc with a diameter of 256 millimeters. And it has an anti-lock braking system ABS on both wheels, and the intelligent ABS is connected to the motorcycle's electronics, its IMU. And the cool thing is that this ABS will adjust according to the riding mode. You can even turn it off on the rear wheel. In addition to the intelligent ABS, the Africa Twin Adventure Sports features cornering ABS. In other words, it will understand if the bike is leaning or not, right, depending on how you're riding, and it will activate the ABS in an intelligent way. So it releases more or less, giving you more safety. This feature is really great on asphalt. Because the Africa Twin is one of the easiest adventure bikes to ride on dirt, and the first reason for that is its center of gravity. So its chassis, its construction, the dimensions are based on the CRF, which is a bike made for off-road. So Honda has the technology to know how to make a motorcycle that's easy to ride on dirt. Then you have the mass, the center of gravity, all concentrated down here at the bottom. So with that, the top part is lighter, the weight is pushed down, and you can ride it very easily. It doesn't even feel like it weighs over 230 kilos. Besides that, there's the technology aspect. This bike has a lot of built-in technology. It has a 6-axis IMU. In other words, it can understand if the motorcycle is leaning to one side, to the other, forward or backward. And with that, you have some electronic systems, for example, the anti-wheeling, which is the anti-wheelie in 3 levels that you can adjust, right? Level 3 is the strongest, so it really won't lift at all. Besides that, it has an electronic system that prevents the rear wheel from lifting, bringing even more safety for you. And it has 6 levels of traction control, plus you can even turn it off if you want. And the Africa Twin Adventure Sports comes with an electronic throttle, throttle-by-wire type, and according to Honda, it delivers faster engine response. And speaking of the engine, here we have the traditional Africa Twin engine, a 2-cylinder 1084cc liquid-cooled engine that delivers 99.3 horsepower at 7,500 RPM and 10.9 kilogram force-meter of torque at 5,250 RPM. The exhaust tip here is really big, there's no way around it. What's interesting is that this time, Honda managed to reduce noise without affecting the bike's power, which is really good, okay? Yeah, and here we have 6 gears, right? 6 speeds and final transmission by chain, not shaft drive. And speaking of gears, the entry-level version, okay, the ones that aren't DCT, it's not just one, right? There's the MT, which they call manual transmission. It has an assist and slipper clutch. This one doesn't have it because it comes with DCT technology. What is that? I'll explain it to you. Honda's DCT technology is dual clutch. Okay, don't confuse it with the CVT system, and now I'll show you how it works in practice, okay? Here we have the buttons that control the DCT. So do you see that there are A and M? A means automated, it will shift gears for you, and M means manual. So whenever you want to change, just press here. To show you, I'll do it here with the motorcycle on, okay? Every time you turn it on, it will show N for neutral, for safety. To put it in gear, just press D and that's it. It's in first gear. And this little D on the side means it's in drive, automated, or automatic, whichever you prefer to call it. To change, there's this AM, which lets you switch from automatic or automated to manual, then you press it and the D disappears. What does that mean? It means it will only shift gears for you if you ask it to, by pulling the trigger up or down. And then in D, you also have S, which would be a sport mode, and there are 3 levels of S, 1, 2, and 3. What would that be? The sportier driving mode takes a little longer to shift gears, prioritizing sportiness, okay? Here on the left side, you don't have a clutch lever, okay? You don't shift with your foot, it's only with your hand, all right? Either it's automated and it shifts for you, or you shift using the trigger, okay? Amanda, and this lever here, what is it? It's the parking brake. Since it doesn't engage, it's common to leave it in gear when parked on an incline or decline so it doesn't roll away, right? Here, there's no such thing. Either you put it on the center stand or you pull this and lock it. Then it will lock the motorcycle and it won't move. And then, to unlock it, you just press here. There's no risk of mistaking it for the clutch and pulling it because it's very far away. So, while riding, it's not within your reach, so there's no risk of you pressing the lever here. If you still manage to find the phantom lever, you might even try to do this with your hand. But you won't be able to grab the parking brake here, so don't worry about that. And it comes with 2 12-volt outlets, one on the left side, which requires an adapter, and another on the right side with this rubber cap here, with a Type A USB port. The dashboard is fully digital, a very beautiful 6.5-inch color screen. And the cool thing, guys, is that this dashboard here is touchscreen, so besides using the controls on the handlebars, you can also use your finger directly on the panel. Every time you turn it on, this screen appears, right? Then you just press OK and that's it. And we have a lot of information here, okay? I'll go through it quickly for you so the video doesn't get too long. For example, look, it's showing me service information, right? And up here we have the clock, temperature, then we have the tachometer, gear indicator, and the engaged gear indicator, right? Or neutral, because this one is DCT. Then here we have the speedometer, fuel gauge, engine temperature, and down here we have the information and actions for the riding mode that's selected, okay? And when you press the button on the left handlebar, it changes. So this user 2 means the user, right? So you can customize it. There's 2 and there's 1, okay? And then you have the off-road mode, and you also have the gravel mode, right? Then you have the urban mode and the tour mode, okay? You change it directly here on the left handlebar. And as you change it, it shows up here, right? The setting you can change is this one, okay? But here in TT mode, which is also for off-road, right? You have the G activated. What is this G? It's like a sport mode for off-road to make the bike even more focused on off-road riding. You can activate or deactivate it, okay? Here in gravel mode, for example, it's deactivated, and here you have information about power, engine braking, and also traction control. There's also the ABS showing how it works, right? And here is the sport mode, right, that you choose. And then on this side, you have several pieces of information. I'm not going to go through everything, guys, because the video would get really long, but you have trip information, trip A, trip B, and the cool thing is that you have the fuel consumption, right, which you can check per trip. Really cool. Then you have the trip information. You can customize this information here, right? By the way, the date here is wrong, guys, February 2028. No, we're not in the future, right? And then here you have more detailed information. And one bad thing, guys, just so you know, is that, look, I keep thinking about downloading this here. Every time I download it, I don't change the information, just how I manage it. So you need to be careful, right? To change it, you have to press enter here. Then yes, once you press enter, it will select it. Then with enter activated, that's when it works, okay? And here, like I told you, look, you have the preload options, right? So you can set it with pressure, rider, luggage, rider alone. Pretty interesting, right? And here you have the anti-wheelie and traction control here. You can even deactivate the G. And then there's ABS and everything else, right? To exit, return here. This dashboard is confusing, guys. Then you can adjust things here, for example, the ABS. Look how cool that is. Hey, are you sure you want to disable the ABS? I'm going to select no, okay? It's just to show you, all right? To change the dashboard settings, you use this little button up here. Press it. And then you have the information here for trip, phone, and settings. This is where you play around, okay? With the information here on the panel, okay? For example, here are the functions. User mode 1 and 2 are the customizable user profiles, right? That you can customize. Look how cool that is. In the power, here in the engine brake control, general damping, see? I told you there are levels, right? Really cool. Look, there's a lot of stuff. You can adjust it here. Look at the preload. Oh my God, there's so much you can adjust, both in user 1 and user 2, okay? The travel information here, anyway, you can change it here. Cancel, automatic turn signal cancellation, you can turn it off. The hiss indicator, right? You have the screen, which is écran in European Portuguese. Oops, I went back, let me fix it. Here on the screen on enter, you have display modes. So the cool thing is that you have several ways to display it. It's really nice. Each one has a name, but that doesn't mean you can't. For example, here it's on tour mode, right? But that doesn't mean the tour can only be like this, right? So look, there's gravel, there's off-road, there's tour, see? So that's really cool because no, I just want to count RPMs with the minimalist information here. No, you can basically have it like this. Here are the details. There's information here about fuel, which is really important for you to know. But here you really have almost no information, right? And here you have everything, basically an onboard computer. So you choose here, for example, I want to set it to gravel here on gravel. I'll set it to gravel, okay? And then you can set it to urban here. I'll set it just so you can see, okay? Here on tour, I don't need to set it to tour. I'll set gravel to tour here too, okay? Just so you can see. Look at this. See that? It changed here. CTT gravel is now gravilla. And here's the urban one, right? On the tour, it stayed this way. It's cool that you can switch display layouts. That's interesting since you can only pick one option or the other, and it doesn't change with riding mode. I like that. You can adjust the panel brightness manually or leave it on automatic. For the background, you can choose black or white. It turns white, but I prefer to keep it black. I think that looks much better. What do you all think? Favorite information is the information that shows up for you, which I mentioned you can customize, right? Here you choose which information will show up, okay? Here there's this favorite switch, which is the star button that's for traction control. In fact, you can choose which one you want there, okay? And then you have something really cool here, which is Bluetooth connectivity. So I'm going to set it here for mobile pairing. Here then I'm going to add a device. It has already found my phone, iPhone. Then I selected it. Besides that, it's also showing up here on my phone, right? Hands-free. It asked to pair and I accepted. Here, I'll say yes. And done, allow. And there you go, it's already set up here on my phone. Now the information is already visible, including my phone's battery status, which is really cool. Then, when you connect with CarPlay or Android Auto, you can listen to music. And most importantly, you can put the map directly on your motorcycle's screen. That's why the Africa Twin comes with this second screen, because when the map is fully displayed on the top, you still have the gear and speed information on the lower panel. It has heated grips, which you can control with this FN button on the right handlebar. Then, when you press it, 4 levels appear here. By the way, it has several functions, okay? For the headlights here, the volume, okay? And also for the heated grips. So what do? And here on this other button, you can increase or decrease the grip heat, right? So it will show you up here and down here as well, okay? Then if you change here, for example, the headlight, right? If you have volume here, you can also use this FN button here. It has cruise control, so when you press here, the little clock will appear, and here you reset or set it, right? The speed you want while you're riding, and on the control panel on the right side, we have the FN button function. Here, the button to cut the engine power, right? And also to start the motorcycle. Here, the DCT buttons that I explained to you, cruise control. And the front brake lever here has reach adjustment. And here on the left side, we have all these buttons, guys. There are a lot of buttons here on the Africa Twin. Up here, we have the high beam buttons and also the flasher, right? Up here, there's a button for you to adjust the grip, the volume. Here you can access the dashboard settings, answer calls. And here, guys, is where the buttons are for you to change the riding modes, right? Here you select, here is enter and favorite. Here you can skip to the next song, go back to the previous song and honk, right? Down here you have the left and right turn signals. Here is the hazard light. And here this little menu is for you to downshift. And back here for you to upshift. And now that I've already shown you everything about the new Africa Twin Adventure Sport, it's time to ride it through the streets of São Paulo and also hit the road and finish the video with the positive and negative points. If you're finding this video super complete, how about leaving a like? You motivate me to make more videos like this. I know this video is getting a little long, but guys, it's gonna be worth it. Actually, that's because I'm going to finish with the positive and negative points now. Come with me on my Garu. To get to the road, we have to leave the city, right? Get out of the traffic. Yeah, here in the city, it's shifting gears much earlier, you know? It's in third gear at 37, but in my mind, I think it's still in second, you know? Then it shifts up again. The good thing is that you can keep downshifting whenever you want, right? Or you can put it in sport mode too, right? Or you can leave it in manual mode. Let me try to put it in manual mode here. Let me put it here. Well, then I'll put it in manual mode. I'll just stay here in second gear. The good thing is that even though it weighs over 200 kilos, it's doing well because its handling is really good. In the city, it performed well even though it's a big bike. It's the CRF handling, right, guys? Thank you. But that's it, guys. Let's get out of this traffic and hit the road. Guys, the bike turns by itself. This 19-inch wheel here made the Africa Twin even more responsive than it already was. Because it's always been a responsive bike. In this new generation, starting from 2016, and now it's even more so. For the road, this one is a great option. The engine is powerful, right, with 99 horsepower. But you see, its purpose is to give you torque at low speeds. Not that top end, right? that top-end power, and I think it makes sense, right? The windscreen, I think it's not very efficient. It's true that I'm tall, but I think it sends more wind at me, like it's at the highest setting, right? There could be an electronic bubble. There could be an electronic bubble, right? It's something that's more of a touring motorcycle. I think that since it's still a CRF, I don't think the electronic bubble makes much sense because there's vibration, dirt. People always joke about that, right? Anything that's too electronic might break down. It might break down. It doesn't mean that Honda isn't capable of making an electronic bubble. That's not my point. But people who ride more off-road prefer things that are more basic. Yeah, I think for me the bubble is okay. I would swap the manual bubble, you know? I would leave it as it is in exchange for a comfortable seat. So, for example, for me, I value a comfortable seat more than the electronic bubble. Which doesn't mean I don't need a bubble here, but more for touring. Because for me, it's throwing everything up here on my helmet. There's no aerodynamics in my opinion. Down here, actually, look, this little horn here seems to make sense, but whoa. But up here, no, it throws everything onto my helmet. Look, just like in sport mode, see? It takes a while to shift gears. Look, 200, oh my God, it was 200. It's artificial intelligence, guys. I was going 100 kilometers per hour. The dashboard showed 200 with the AI and the editing, right? Wow, this AI is cool, right? It puts it right here, really nice. Yes, wow, you know, the bike is beautiful. Super stable, it's slim, it's a CRF compact, but wow, on the road. The bike is very, very robust. That's cool, right? The Africa Twin is a rocket and it gives you a lot of power. It gives you excitement. It gives you torque. But it's like this, right? It's not a sportier adventure bike. It's an adventure bike built more for off-road riding. And that's it. There are pros and cons. The pros? The pros are everything. Handling, CRF technology, electronics, dimensions, ease of riding, design, right? This bike is really beautiful. And the cons are, you know, the hard seat. For example, if you go to another bed to Atacama with this seat, you're going to complain, to be honest with you. But it's still a bit more comfortable than the entry-level Africa Twin, and we have to say that. It's true, but it still has to be narrow. And everything else, so you can ride here off-road, but that's it, guys. In the city, it did well, of course, within reason, as you saw. And here on the road, it's also doing very well. That's it. Now let's wrap up the video with the pros and cons. What a fun motorcycle to ride. And if you want to take it home, but you don't have the money to pay up front, and you think the financing rate is too high, how about getting it with no interest, no down payment, and a special installment plan? Here, look, for just 1,016 reais and 75 cents. Would that be good for you? If you're interested, just click the link in the description or point your phone's camera at the QR code on the screen and talk to Pablo now. He knows everything about consortiums and will come up with the best strategy for you. A consortium is good as long as you join the right group with the right administrator, paying the right fee, and according to your financial situation. Whether you have the money to make a bid or not, that's where Pablo will help you. Whether it's for getting your Africa Twin Adventure Sports, another Honda motorcycle, a motorcycle from another brand, a car, or even a property, just like Mandinha is doing. If you don't know, I joined a property consortium. I'm planning to build my house, and this could also be a path for you. Don't waste time, contact Pablo now on WhatsApp because the installment terms, not just for this one, but for other motorcycles and vehicles too, are really good just for my followers. Reach out to him here, you know, guys, it doesn't cost anything. You won't pay anything to talk to him. You'll talk to the consultant who will come up with the best strategy for you. The link in the description or the QR code leads to his personal WhatsApp where he'll assist you. Be sure to mention you saw it on Canal Motoplay. Reach out now before you forget, send a quick hello and say which motorcycle, car or property you want and he'll come up with the best strategy. A strategy for you to achieve your dream and who knows, maybe now in 2026. When it comes to fuel consumption, there's no way around it. The more you accelerate, the more you'll spend, especially if you ride in sport mode going full throttle. There's just no way around it. For me, with a mix of city and highway riding, and I admit I rode it hard, it averaged 15 kilometers per liter. But if you have an Africa Twin Adventure Sport, write down below what kind of fuel consumption you get with it. Insurance is a very important item that you need to have on your motorcycle, almost like a protective accessory. If you have a big trail or another motorcycle, shouldn't you use protectors? What if you fall or it tips over? So, insurance is the same thing. I always say, guys, it's a mandatory accessory for you to have. As soon as you leave the dealership, you should already have insurance. And you know, you pay much less for insurance with Protect Me, which has been a partner here on the channel since 2019, helping hundreds of followers pay less for insurance. Protect Me is a 100% digital insurance broker that uses artificial intelligence by lowering administrative costs and turning that into discounts for you. And the cool thing, guys, is that with Protect Me, besides being cheaper, you get the price instantly. So, you just fill in your information. You can't lie, right? You have to fill in your details correctly, and you'll get the price instantly with no bureaucracy. You can even do the inspection at your own home, guys. It's really practical. I love Protect Me, not just because of the price, but also for how convenient it is. I entered the profile of a 41-year-old man using a Curitiba zip code because many followers from there ride the Africa Twin Adventure bike. So, I put the zip code from Curitiba, but you can enter your own city. Are you from Minas? You can put Minas. Are you from São Paulo? Put São Paulo. Insurance costs can vary by region, profile, and age, making it cheaper or more expensive. And then, several options came up, guys. I was surprised. The cheapest one covers theft and robbery with towing, 200 kilometers, 24 hours. No deductible, compensation always based on the FIP, so you can feel safe about crime. Guys, the price here is 876 Ries, okay? For 663 Ries, guys, just 663 already with my discount code here. How do you get the discount, Amanda? Just click the link in the description or the QR code on the screen. You just scan it with your phone, fill it out quickly, guys. They won't be sending you spam, don't worry. It's just so you can get an accurate quote, okay? You can get quotes for motorcycles you haven't bought yet, letting you check insurance costs for a new bike before purchasing. This helps you choose the right model and price based on insurance rates. So here I selected theft and robbery coverage with third-party damage, right? The price came out to 922 Ries already with my discount coupon, and that's the annual amount. And here's what I thought was best, okay guys? Here's the one I set aside, which is the Porto Seguro Complete Plan. Wow, this one is better, guys. Look, from 3,067 Ries, it went down to 2,772, very good, and that's the annual amount. You can pay in 10 installments with no interest, and you get 100% FIP compensation, 24-hour assistance, 300 kilometers total loss coverage for collision, and you also have theft and robbery coverage, of course. And the deductible for vehicle repairs is 23,000 Ries, okay? And 60 Ries, 23,060. And you also have third-party insurance here for bodily injury and property damage. So girl, which insurance is better? Check the website, and if you have questions, click the WhatsApp button to chat with the Protective team for answers. At Protective, guys, it's really easy, no bureaucracy, with the best price in Brazil. Clicked, told, done. I'll discuss the pros and cons now. Remember, Mandia isn't always right. Feel free to agree, disagree, or comment respectfully. Also, make sure you're subscribed. I'm hurrying to keep the video short. Well, starting here with the positive points. Design, guys, the Africa Twin is just gorgeous. Very beautiful, getting more and more attractive, right? And charming, just like the Motoplay channel. So a positive point for the design. Another positive point is the finish. This little badge here from Honda, look, the one you're seeing here, red, is only put on motorcycles with the highest standard of technology. So you see it, for example, on the Goldwing, you see it here on the Africa Twin. So it's a motorcycle that has refinement, good finishing, and a superior standard. So that's a positive point. The lighting set is another positive point, not only because of the design, which I think is very beautiful, but also because it has this technology that adapts to the brightness. Another good thing is that it has cornering lights. So that's a positive point, and also its handling. A true CRF that helps you on dirt roads. So that's a positive point. The riding modes are a positive point, including the user modes, right? 1 and 2, which you can customize according to your style. Technology, this bike has a lot of it. So we have to say that's definitely a positive point. We have ABS that can be turned off on the rear wheel, right? It's a true big trail for off-road, so you need to be able to turn it off if you want to, okay? I admit I'm not very good at turning it off. I'm not really like Jean-Zévi, but for those who want to, for the pros, you can turn it off on the rear wheel. Another good thing is the DSP system. DSP, DCT, which does the automated shifting for you. Honda was a pioneer with motorcycles. Other brands followed suit, and it's selling well. People are a bit biased against it, but I think that those who try it, yeah, a lot of people like it. I think it was just like with automatic cars, there was that prejudice. Nowadays, most cars are automatic because you see how practical it is. Unfortunately, if you dislike this system, the manual adventure sport doesn't offer that option. So, if you want to shift gears yourself old school, you have to go for the MT version since it's adventure sport and the electronic suspension is only available on the DCT. The brakes held up well, they made me feel very safe. That's a positive point. They grip well here. You can see that the ABS isn't intrusive. In fact, another positive point for the ABS is that it's smart. It also has cornering ABS, which is really good. Suspensions too. I'll break it down into two parts. First, the suspension chapter for the travel, for what it delivers, right? So really, the suspension handles bumps very well. It was designed for off-road, so that's a positive point. And also, because of the electronic adjustment. So you have electronic suspension. That's another positive point. You can adjust the front as you want in user mode up to 24, right? Yeah, you can spend the whole day, the whole weekend playing around with the suspension, right? Adjust it, take a ride, adjust it again. And you also have the preload here for the rider, passenger, luggage, and everything else. That's a positive point. The engine is another positive point of this motorcycle. It might not be the most powerful engine in its category, but it's a really good engine for off-road. It's a sufficient engine, a strong, torquey engine that delivers really well in a linear way, especially off-road. That makes all the difference because it's a bike that really helps you ride off-road, so that's a positive point. The seat, I seriously thought about whether I should consider it a positive point or not. Because, you know, the CRF already feels like a board, and here it's not as bad as the entry-level Africa Twin. Yeah, can you take a passenger? You can, guys. But honestly, in practice, you'll have to switch to a comfort seat. But it's not really a big adventure touring bike for you to actually sit back there, so your passenger might complain a little. But I'm going to say here that the seat is not as bad as the MT, right? Which is the entry-level version, right? So that's a positive point. It has a bigger tank, so that's a positive point. It comes with 2 outlets, right? Not just one, which is great. And heated grips, that's really nice too. Especially for those who are going to travel in the cold, at night, in the rain, it helps a lot. The dashboard is another super positive point. It's really complete, and I love that. You can set the riding mode with a different display. That's really cool. It even gives you a visual cue. If you press the button here and change the riding mode, you won't notice if you're not reading. Only the visual will give you that information. So that's really cool. Another good thing is Honda's HISS system. You can even turn it off, but I don't recommend you do that. What is it? It's a system that provides an electronic immobilizer. So in practice, it's as if this key has a chip inside and it has electronic information. Even if someone makes an identical copy of the key or uses a screwdriver and tampers with it, breaks the lock and turns it, the motorcycle won't start. That electronic communication won't occur, which is good. A good thing is the connectivity with your cell phone, so you can see the map, Google Maps, Waze, so that's really cool. And also use the music app, right? That's a positive point. And last but not least, there's Honda Assistance, which is valid during the motorcycle's warranty, which is 3 years and gives you coverage not only in Brazil, but also in some Latin American countries. In practice, if something happens to the motorcycle, like a mechanical problem covered by the warranty, and you're traveling, for example, in Argentina, Honda will take care of everything so that you and the motorcycle can get back to Brazil. So that's really cool. Now I'm going to talk about the negative points. The first one, guys, is the number of buttons this motorcycle has, both on the left and on the right. Look, Honda Japan really needs to redesign this whole switchgear layout on the Africa Twin because it's very complicated and I don't even know if the owners are used to it yet. Yeah, another negative point, right? Besides there being so many buttons, the riding mode button is way too easy to press. Any little bump and you end up changing the riding mode. Imagine riding on dirt in gravel mode, then suddenly, bam, you accidentally switch to urban mode. That doesn't make sense. So I think it should be a button that's really hidden, so you only change the riding mode when you actually want to. It can't be that easy, so that's my complaint about the buttons. Another downside is that I found the windscreen inefficient. Even though Honda made this system that supposedly doesn't cause fatigue or whatever, I felt like it just throws the air at you, you know? If I could change the design, I'd focus on the windscreen, or at least offer a larger option for buyers. The seat is hard, as I mentioned before, right? It's a downside, even though it's still better than the version with the 21-inch rim, right? Still, it's hard, okay? So if you're looking for a comfortable adventure bike for traveling, for motorcycle touring, real touring, this one might not be the right fit for you. And another downside is that for you to connect your phone to have Android Auto, you need to have it connected with a cable. That's bad because you need a long cable to keep your phone in your pocket while charging. It would be better if there was a wireless option too. Another downside, in my opinion, is that it doesn't come with a fairing protector or a center stand as standard, and the one that comes with a skid plate isn't very useful, but at least it has the handguard here, right? But given the price, right, it should come with all the accessories, in my opinion. Okay, it doesn't need to come with the cases, but at least with the support so you can just fit everything in place, all set up. So I think, or the auxiliary lights, right, it could come with more accessories, in my opinion, given the price it's sold for. And speaking of price, I always thought the Africa Twin was expensive, especially compared to its competitors. So it's really just for those who truly want it or who really insist on riding off-road. And I've even considered buying it because I think this motorcycle is really beautiful, but the price made me hesitate a bit because it's really a lot of money, right? Especially if you go for the DCT version, which is the most expensive one. This one here is the Adventure Sports. So unfortunately, you might not be able to afford it, right? Depending on the situation. But I know it's not for everyone who wants it. Not everyone can have it, right? There's that too. It's a more exclusive motorcycle. And lastly, it's an issue that's not even Honda's or the Africa Twin's fault. It's actually our country's. So this chapter here is about people who live like me in São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, regions where there's a lot of crime and criminal activity is very high. And this type of motorcycle, the Big Trail, is highly targeted for theft. So I need to tell you this, it's not just about someone stealing it when they get the chance. People actually go out hunting for them, if you know what I mean. So a lot of people don't know about this, and then first-timers might run into trouble. So before you buy, make sure to check where you're going to ride. If it's with friends, check the routes you'll be taking so you don't run into any kind of trouble. Unfortunately, it's not Honda's or Africa Twin's fault. But it's a problem in Brazil, I have to tell you. And do you have more positive or negative points about the Africa Twin Adventure Sports? Write them down below. And it has original accessories for you to buy at the dealership. Aluminum top box kit, tank bag kit, central stand kit. Then you have the rally foot peg kit so you can ride more steadily on dirt roads, right? Fog lights. Aluminum side cases, fairing guard, and engine guard. And the Adventure Sports version is available in 2 colors with a suggested retail price starting at $116, ARP $116,513. Remember, at Japalto, you can buy your Africa Twin Adventure Sports or any other Honda motorcycle, always with the best service. They accept your used motorcycle as payment, offer financing, and have a consortium. There are over 32 stores across São Paulo, Greater São Paulo, Alphaville, the countryside, Campinas, and more. Go to Japalto and you'll make a deal. My tip is to scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description and start negotiating yours right away. But if you want to go directly to the store, you can go there and check it out. You can even see it up close since some stores offer test rides. So get in touch with Japalto to find out which store near you offers test rides so you can check out this machine up close. Don't close your deal on a Honda before talking to Japalto, and don't forget to mention that you came from the Motoplay channel because you'll get an advantage. That's it. If you enjoyed the video, please like and share it with your friends, WhatsApp groups, and Facebook. It's a very complete video for you. I know it ended up a bit long. But it's a standard Motoplay video, really complete, with technical information, positive and negative points. If you liked it, leave a like because it motivates me to make more videos like this. If you want to help me keep doing my work, become a member. You get exclusive benefits, early content, and exclusive content. There are travel videos here too. Just check the members only content tab, plus giveaways and much more. But if you don't want to or can't contribute a small amount each month, you can subscribe to the channel for free. Okay? What's your excuse? Have you subscribed yet? Your finger won't fall off. Subscribe, because I'm aiming to reach 1 million motorcycle lovers. I think the quality of this channel deserves 1 million subscribers, don't you think? So I'm really counting on your subscription. Up here is a cool video for you and another one down below. I'm sure you'll enjoy them. See you next time. Moto Kiss, bye.